Hello. Good.
What have you seen from Brock in the passing game so far this season? How has he kind of grown over the summer into a bigger role there?
Brock's just the guy you can trust. He's steady Eddie. He's always there. Last week caught some balls just because of, he knows the defense, knows when we can get out and go. He understands what we're trying to do. So really, there's just a huge trust with Brock. We can put him anywhere, and he's gonna do what's asked of him.
Is that trust for you really with the whole group? I mean, it's a pretty veteran group that can do a lot of different things, got some versatility to it. Just your group as a whole, you like where you guys are at?
No question. Yeah, I would say the answer to that is yes.
How's it been having Parker this year, and what has he brought to the table?
Just more of he's a physical presence. Obviously we played him more in that fullback type role. So he's brought a different element to it, yeah.
Is he somebody that you from the moment he got here, kind of saw him making the roster and being able to contribute as much as he has?
No, he worked his way into it, with the special teams and finding a little niche on the offense. It was really all about him just gaining the trust of the coaches. And he did a really good job of that throughout training camp.
Can you speak to how difficult, he played defense in college, how it is to kind of translate to this and how much maybe that plays into those fullback looks?
Yeah, you'd have to ask him that. But he's done a nice job, and he's played in the league a while now. So he's kind of fit into this tight end role, fullback role pretty well.
As far as Laporta goes, obviously he has not been targeted as much as people would have thought to this point in the season, but I guess just what's his attitude been like and response been to maybe some quieter games early on in the season? I guess just how much confidence do you have that'll subside?
Yeah, really no response. I don't think, me and him have to talk about that at all. He knows he's always involved. It's just a matter of, hey, sometimes the ball's going to Saint, sometimes it's going to him, sometimes it's going to J-Mo. We'll get our touches, not concerned. The good thing about Sam is he's had some of his best games since I've been here and maybe not caught a lot of balls. We do a lot at our position. It's not just catching the ball. It's, the blocking and the pass protecting and all the other stuff too. So.
Do you see defenses playing him differently in year two?
Not in year two. No, it's pretty similar. I think they're aware of him though. Yeah.
Is it just technique stuff when it comes to the blocking? I guess, is there a finer point of growth that you've been able to see from him in terms of that aspect?
Yeah, he's grown technique-wise. I think the big thing with Sam is he's willing, right? He's going to go put his face and hands in there. From our position standpoint, especially nowadays, I think that's the thing that it's hard to find. The guy's tough and he's willing to do it. I think that's the first thing when you're talking about the blocking part of it.
What's the balance between having a guy that's willing to play through an injury like Sam tried to do on Sunday versus maybe reeling him back in and saying, if you're not 100%, let's try to, get you back up to speed maybe next week.
Yeah, really that's up to the doctors. If he's good to go, hey, you're out there. Let's go. So.
This Seattle defense is hitting rushing quarterbacks and hitting quarterbacks at a clip higher than anyone else in the league. How's that going to change your game plan going into the week?
The biggest thing about them is it's a really talented group, right, top to bottom. The front is big and physical as we've seen. They're real active. The backers can run. They got a good secondary. So it's a challenge. We'll try to have some things for them, but they are a really good group.
Does that strain the tight end room, or I guess you got to have your head on a swivel a little bit more? Is it more of like a mental overload in a matchup like that?
No, we just know we got our hands full, right? We know we got our hands full and play with technique and try to go get after them.
Given that Sam's fighting through an injury, it's always possible you bring up a guy from the practice squad. Just kind of wondering how James Mitchell, Zylstra have been competing, since training camp's ended.
Yeah, those two guys they've been good. Obviously going against our defense every day is a challenge for them. And it's the best practice that they can get. And they've been all positive, and they're headed in the right direction.
Is there anything specific that you need to see out of either of those guys to maybe get a chance to get on the regular squad?
Just continue to work. That's all we ask every day. Just work.
Good afternoon. A little bit more rested this week. but still a lot of work still to be done. I can't start the press conference without talking about our O-line, the job that they did this week. It was even better on tape. It was amazing, some of the work that people did. You know, our entirety of our O-line, skipper coming in. You know, the skill players that carried the football did a really, really good job. The one run, it was just absolutely amazing. You know, you don't get a chance to see many runs like that. I know the run you guys think I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jared Goff's run at the end of the game. Closing that game with a big-time throw and a big-time run like that, I gave the backs hell. Like, how can you be outdone in that section right there by JG? And he did a hell of a job right there. And he got down. Probably the only thing that was more impressive was that first down, the first down signal that he threw up right there. I've never seen him show that type of emotion in that setting. But yeah, we're happy to have a chance to come back and get back in the win column, but also Monday Night Football. There's a little bit of a different aura about Monday, Monday Night Football, and you throw in Calvin Johnson being inducted. So, we understand the gravity and the urgency of now with playing in this weekend. I think of Calvin Johnson, and I think I knew when he was Hall of Fame. I think I knew the point in my mind is when I saw jammer coverage on him with two DBs. Literally, a team said, okay, this guy is so good, we're going to put two people at the LOS. We don't care about the run game. We don't care about anything else. We've got to stop this guy. So that's kind of my thought process of Calvin Johnson. And then Monday Night Football, thinking back to probably my fondest Monday Night Football memory was probably 2010, either 10 or 11. I think it's 10. Randall L. was being coached by me at the time. I'm dating myself here, but our receiver coach here was being coached by me as a receiver coach, and we had joked all week. We had this jet sweep pass, and we were playing against Cincinnati on a Monday night, like 2010 in Cincy. We were playing well. They were playing pretty well, and top of the quarter, we get a jet sweep, reverse pass. L throws it from the middle of the field. I think it was around the 50-yard line. It lands about 3 yards deep in the end zone. Mike Wallace goes up, catches it. It's probably one of the better throws I've seen a receiver make in this league. So that's my Monday night deal. So we need to create some more of those memories, and that's exactly what we got to do this weekend.
Who makes the throw this week then for you guys?
Say again?
Which receiver makes the throw this week then?
I got no idea. We're not that far yet.
What your reaction was when you saw the film of David Montgomery basically surfing, getting pushed by the offensive line?
I was hoping that you brought that up. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think anybody's seen anything like it. But one of the things we've talked about is when you get in the air like that, only thing that goes to your mind is ball security, because I have seen guys go in the air and the ball come out. So he's just worried about his ball security right there. But what I did find out is you look at the tape, and as you see him hitting the ground, he's smiling. All you can see is his teeth because he'd never been in anything like it. But our offensive line, our skill players, Skip coming in late right there and picking a guy up. I don't think I've ever seen a guy get that many rushing yards without using his legs. So impressed by our O-line. Once again, big-time performance by those guys. Our details in the run game with those guys, it was on point. So hopefully we can continue that and just keep being precise in what we do.
What was the tone throughout the week? I mean, starting with finishing the Tampa Bay game to getting to this one. It was clear that there was this emphasis to getting back to that identity. So just, I guess, what was the tenor of the building throughout the week?
First of all, just getting back on the grass. Like, some of the hardest things when you come out of a game when you don't necessarily do your best is all of the gap in time that you have to wait to get back on the grass. So I think that, when we came back, we did want to make sure that those things that we didn't do well, that we corrected them. That was the first thing. The second part of it is that, our O-line is the best, all right? And we got two backs that can go deliver, but what really improved and what you really see is if you watch St. Brown in this game, people are talking about his catches, the unbelievable, hook and ladder. All that stuff is impressive, but when you go see him hit safeties and the way he was blocking down the field, teams are tough by the way that their little people are judged, not by their big people, right? The receivers, the DBs, that's when you start seeing the toughness of a team. Everybody thinks it's what happens in the trenches. It is. But when you got guys, and especially your best player, going in and hitting safeties like that, he set the mentality early in the week, telling people exactly what was going to happen, and our guys followed suit.
One thing that really pops with Ja and David is their contact balance. I guess what is it about their running style, where they prepare, just their game in general that allows them to excel there?
Yeah, a lot of it's genetics. Okay, being quite honest, they are physically gifted, but they do have different types of contact balance. Right? It's it's hard to put it into words, but I do think that is a distinguishing characteristic for both of them, and. They both have different ways of getting to it. A lot of people don't understand how shifty David is. So as he's coming off of these jump cuts, a lot of people, when they come off jump cuts, they're very light. But when he comes off of a jump cut, he's heavy. So when they're hitting him off of a jump cut, they think that when he gets hit, it's going to knock him off balance very easy. But it's not. He's very solid in that point. Whereas when Ja comes off a jump cut, more people wait. So that now they're waiting on what's going to happen after the jump cut. And then now he's very heavy. So his contact balance. So it's just a different way of being able to use a skill. I hope you can kind of understand what I'm saying there. But it's different ways to use that skill of contact balance. But it doesn't matter. The contact balance part doesn't matter if you don't have a unique skill before the hit. And that's kind of what both of them have.
You want to establish the run every week, obviously, but with a defense like this that's so sticky, athletic, ball hawking in the second level, I mean, how much more important is it against an opponent like this to make sure that you're getting it done on the ground, if not to open up some stuff for the passing game as well?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's a great point. They do have tremendous length and skill in the perimeter, and they do a good job. They can put three guys out there that can cover you, and 21 is an amazing player. 27 is not talked about enough, and then when 22 comes on the field in those settings, he's still really close to people. And that does present a challenge for us. But at the same time, coverage, when coverage happens, we have to understand that we have to be able to run the football. So there's a tremendous amount, a point for us that we do want to go establish ourselves and establish the run. We have our O-line set. Our backs understand that, the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. And that comes down to our reads. A lot of the times in these type of games, you make the correct read, it could turn into explosive. You're slightly below or behind on that correct read, it turns into a 3-yard gain or even a TFL. So from a precision standpoint of reading, we got to be great. I know what our O-line is going to do. They're going to come out and do their job and create surge and create lanes. We just got to continue to do a good job of finding those lanes. And then from a support standpoint, when we do get some of that coverage and man-to-man coverage, we'll be taking two at receivers. So as we're going to block support, hopefully there'll be a man-to-man coverage. We can come off and get some blocks. And now we're taking two instead of taking one and create more space on the second and third level for us.
Defensive front is also really good in pass rush. I'm just curious how much more responsibility that puts on your guys against a creative defensive mind over there and just the way that they're going to be coming.
We got a tremendous amount of respect for Coach, right? Coach did a hell of a job last year in Baltimore against us. We understand that, and it's going to be a huge detail for us in the backfield, and not only make sure that we understand what's going on in protection, but also to be helpful as we move out. So we'll do things to try to make sure that we're in position to create some good matchups for our guys as we move through.
Dan just said that Frank won't play this week. Obviously, a key cog in that offensive line, the run game especially. Just what's the challenge and I guess compensating for his absence and making sure that his loss doesn't affect the way that the offense runs the ball.
Yeah, no doubt. We love Frank. The biggest thing about Frank, though, one of the biggest things about Frank is his mind, right? He is 2 steps, 3 steps ahead. I will come in, I'll be working on our pressure packages and everything, and he's calling out the pressure packages before I could even try to. So that's the main point. But one thing that we've been able to do here with Brad and with Dan is they built this thing with some depth, right? So now we got guys that are going in that we can kind of shuffle and move from different positions that have actually had real game time and that are working in these protection meetings, have been working in these protection meetings now for 2, some even 3 years in some of those situations. So it does present a challenge, but this is one of those situations where at some point in time throughout a year, someone's going to be missing. So Dan and Brad have done a good job of making sure that we're built to be able to handle this thing, for the long haul. Good. Thanks, guys.